here. Pardon the interruptions every once in a while.
I get that happening.
Greg on Facebook. Can I give you guys pardon one interruptions there over there? Find the live feed right here. We are live now. So find the live feed. I'm going to have it on my phone, so I'll be able to go live there. But just go over to the page if you're watching this stream. I am streaming. You just scroll down on the page until you see our live video, and then just share it on your timeline, and away you go. So that was pretty simple. Now I just got to find me on my cell phone. Anyways, it's always fun, isn't it? All right, it looks like I shut my thing off. All right, there's the, there it is. All righty. I just got to go live on my cell phone, and we'll get started here. I'm going to push that, whoops, see, I'm muted on my cell phone, but I always have to turn that down. And I'm going to share. There we go, and I just want to say hi to everybody on Facebook. Hello, everyone. 11 people already. Great to see you guys. Cabo in like 23 days. Who's ready? Who's registered for Cabo? Yes? Yeah, I am. Yeah. So I got my Facebook feed on my phone, so I can watch the questions there if there are any. I am so excited about our call tonight, and I know you all are too. We have a very special guest here this evening, Mr. Steve Gaghagen. I've been working with Steve for over 11 years, almost as long as I've known Joel, but not quite. And I got to tell you that he's been a really good partner over the years, and he does some phenomenal training, and he's probably, in my mind, one of the best trainers when it comes to teaching the colors of personality. Are you guys familiar with that? Are you familiar with the idea of the personality colors? You know, red, green, blue, orange, or red, green, blue, and yellow. And you know, there's a different scale. My daughter took different training. It was different colors, but it's exactly the same. So I'm really glad to see there's lots of people who are not familiar with this. And for those of you that are, you are in for a real phenomenal treat. So Steve, I'm going to go into chat and let Steve bring up his slides. And without further ado, once he gets his slides up, and you can come up anytime, Steve, your moderator, we can both be up here at the same time talking. How amazing is that? And I'm really excited to turn this room over to Steve so that you guys can be educated and entertained. You're going to learn all about how to learn very quickly who the person is on the other end of the phone or the other end of your text chat, and be able to bring them into the business here. So without further ado, to everybody, Mr. Steve Gaghagen. Big round of applause. Welcome, Steve. Take it away.
Well, Janet, first of all, I just want to check my sound out. Is the sound okay? Can everybody hear me at a good volume? It's not screaming at you because it's redlining in here. Test, 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 test. Okay. All right. Well, Janet, thank you for the opportunity of doing this tonight. I haven't taught this in a while, and it feels good to be back in the saddle, particularly with the advent of Now Lifestyle, because this is perfect for those of us who are involved there. And what we're going to do tonight is something that I have been told from other people who have heard this training before, that this ended up to be the most important thing they ever learned in network marketing. And the reason that they said that is not just because of network marketing, but because this training can actually change your life, because it can change the way that you communicate with other people. It can change the way that you understand other people. Before we get going, let me ask you a question. I'm going to ask a negative question to start off with, okay? And I want everybody to be really honest here. How many people are there in the room tonight? Hi, Anderson. How you doing? How many people are in the room tonight who do not phone your leads that have phone numbers? Give me a no in the text chat if you do not phone your leads. Okay, we got a couple being honest people. Thank you very much for being honest. Okay. Have not yet. Okay. Well, listen. Here's the second question. How many of you have what I don't want to say phonophobia, but a fear? You might have a fear of talking to people because, for a lot of reasons, you don't know what to say. You know, you get on the phone and you're not sure how you should talk to somebody. How you're afraid that you'll get somebody who's really angry and domineering and wants to take over the conversation. You know, so we hang back, and we don't do that. All right, and I'm getting yeses and not yets and you know all that kind of stuff in the text chat. So that's very cool. Thank you for being honest. What we're going to do here is we're going to take care of all that. We're going to simply take care of all that. If you listen to what goes down here tonight, and if you put this to work, you will always know exactly the right things to be talking about with every person that you talk to, even if you've only known them on the phone for 5 or 10 minutes. All right? Let me ask you this. How many of you have had the situation where you start talking about, you're talking to a lead or a prospect, and you're talking about the you know how the products are good for the earth and are biodegradable and safe to have around your children, and how all the products can do so much good for people, and you know they help with diabetes and weight loss and things like that, and you get interrupted by the person on the other end saying, well, that's all well and good, but do you guys do a lot of trips? I mean, do you have any fun over there? And by the way, how much money and how big of an organization can I build? Okay? Have you ever had that happen to you? Boom, the conversation's just taken right away from you, and you're disoriented, and you don't know what to say next. Well, guess what? We're going to take care of that, too. Now, I call this training, excuse me, I need to hit the next slide here. Boom. The colors of personality. Because this is a psychological classification system. Now, it might get a little confusing at first as we start to talk about it. But what we're doing is we're using what's called the Hartman personality test to divide the world up into 4 major personality groups, and then to look at the behaviors and the wants and the needs of those different personality groups. Because if you can look at behaviors and you can, from those behaviors, and I'm talking about very surface behaviors, like in the first 2 minutes you have someone on the phone, if you can tell just from talking to them for 3 or 4 sentences what they're going to want to know about your company, what kind of style of communication is going to make them comfortable, what things are important to them in their basic life and what really matters to them, then you can make the conversation something that will help them to relax, something that will open up the avenues of conversing and listening and understanding on their part and make everybody comfortable. And you can do that, literally do that, within a couple questions and a couple of sentences with anybody on the earth. Now, this isn't something that at the end of tonight you're going to go out and you're going to do this, boom, just automatically like that. This is something you have to keep in mind, and you have to practice it. You have to start observing things. Now, tonight, as we go through this, I want you to, I'm going to be giving you a lot of information. Now, just so you know, there's a lot of stuff on these slides. And Janet's saying take notes. Notes are a great thing because they help you remember. But these slides are available for you. They are in the shared files folder, and we'll make sure at the end that you all know where that is, because you can download a copy of these slides in a PDF file so that you can always refer to them. And believe me, if you get into this, you'll want to refer to them. Excuse me. I live in the mountains. It's allergy time up here. So, if we're ready, the other thing is I don't watch the text chat too closely.
Well, it looks like he got a little too excited. Hopefully he'll be back. Hopefully he'll be back. Stay tuned, all right? Let me go see if I can find him. Well, hopefully with any luck, he'll be right back. He doesn't usually have this problem, so hopefully we'll get him back in here. But I'm not sure, spamming in the room here. I'll keep an eye on it. Thank you, Julio. Okay, one sec, Steve. Oh, I didn't see you were back. One sec. You gotta love technology, right? Just a little hiccup. So thanks for your patience, guys. Steve's back, and he'll get his presentation going and get right back on track. So no problem. There he is. All right.
Okay. Well, there we are. I coughed and knocked myself right off the internet. All right, so we're back to where we were. What I was going to say is I don't watch the text chat too much because this is pretty involved stuff, and if I start looking at everything that goes by, I just can't do it. I'm not a good multitasker. The last time I multitasked, I dropped my phone in the toilet, so I don't do that anymore. And if I text chat too closely, sometimes I will just... Okay, I see now, like that, I'll lose my train of thought. All right, so this is going to be a lesson in personality classification, and if you watch this and do this and take the slides from the shared files folder, you'll have a tool that will literally change your life and how you relate to other people. So what we're going to do is we're going to start looking at how all of this stuff works. Now, the first thing you need to understand is that we're all in the business. Everybody is in the people business, most especially people in network marketing. And the most successful people are the ones who have the ability to not just work with all types of people, but to communicate with all types of people, even those that are different than themselves. Now, I mean, how fractious are things like politics today? How fractured has that made our society here in the U.S. and Europe? We have people on Facebook, you know, just unfriending people they've known for 20 years because they said something about some political blah, blah, blah. Well, if you just can't talk to anybody that disagrees with you politically, you're stunting your business. If you can't talk to somebody who is from a different country or a different religion or has a different outlook on the universe and the world than you do, you're stunting your business. And the interesting thing is that the first step in learning how to communicate with other people is to understand yourself. You need to know who you are, what your core personality is all about. Because once you know that, then you'll know if I meet, as I said before, we're looking at four groups, blue, red, yellow, and green, okay? And if I know I'm a blue and I meet a green, I'm going to know what part of my personality I need to ameliorate for that conversation. And I'm going to know what part of my personality I need to build up and to help grow, to help that conversation along. This is not about manipulating other people. This is about understanding yourself enough so that you can talk to anybody and within a few sentences make it comfortable enough for them to sit down on the same side of the table as you're at. In other words, Zig Ziglar used to talk about this all the time. You don't want to be sitting across from each other. You want to be sitting next to each other, working on something together, instead of face to face, I'm going to make you see things my way. That's not what this is about. This is about people relaxing and being comfortable enough talking to you. And that happens only when you understand yourself and what you need to do to make others comfortable with you. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, leadership in the people business. Let me ask you a question. You can see that this little guy on the left is not in a very good mood at the present time, okay? And you can see the guy on the right is having a perfectly fine time. He's just quiet and relaxed. Let me know in the text chat which one of these guys, left or right, you think it would be easier to talk to your business about. In other words, you call somebody. Which one of these would you rather get on the phone? Would you rather get the little guy on the right or the guy on the left? Okay, everybody's answering right. Okay? Yeah, of course you would. Of course you would. Now, how about this? How about knowing enough about how to communicate with people that if you got the little guy on the left on the phone in that situation right there, that you could, within a little bit of a conversation, move him over into the right-hand slot. In other words, help him to get past that crabbiness and that stuff that's between you and him and stopping your conversation. Help him get over that, get past it, and move into the position on the right. Okay? Can you see the power of that? Can you see what that would do for your business? Because suddenly you're talking to somebody who's able to listen and who's able to, to sit down on the same side of the table as you're at. Instead of, why are you calling me at dinner time? And blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. Well, you can diffuse that. If you get really good at this, you can diffuse that, and you can be confident that you can do that. All right? Now, let me ask you a second question about this, because this is an interesting picture in a couple ways. Let's look at the little guy on the left. He's not having a good day. How many of you have known a little guy like this? He's, usually grouchy. It's always like he probably has something in his pants, even when he doesn't. He doesn't like the way the sheets scrunching up on his neck. His diapers don't fit him right. He cries all the time, all night. You're up with him all night, all that. How many of you have known a little guy or a little girl like that, right? We all have. Now, the other one on the other side, on the right-hand side, how many of you have known one of these? They're always smiling. He could fall right off that bed and land on his head, and pop, beep, he gets up smiling, and he's always like that. Now, okay, so let me ask you this, and this is what leads us into everything else. At this age, how old do you think they are? They're like 3-4 months, right? Okay. So at that age, where do you think those two different behaviors come from? Are they born that way, or did they learn those behaviors? Give me your answer in the text chat. At 3 or 4 months old, 5 months old, did they learn that approach to the universe, or was it always there? Okay, we're getting born genes. Depends. Born that way. Learn. Well, by that age, you can learn a few things. You're learning to focus your eyes. You're learning that when that, a lady's face appears, usually there's food soon after. Things like that. But how you generally approach the universe is not something that you're going to learn over a period of time. This little guy on the left, that's his general approach to the universe. That's the way he relates to what's around him. He wants to push it away. To stop coming into my space, just leave me alone. And that's his first instinct, is to put his arms up and hold things away. This other little guy, he doesn't know what's out there. all right? He hasn't learned what's out there, but he's got his arms wide open saying, come on in. Let's have some fun. You know, come on, do it. What's happening now? What's next? These are not things that you learn. Now, they are things that you can learn to handle. But what I'm telling you is that there is a core personality that you are simply born with. And to put it bluntly, that's where the glass half full, glass half empty thing comes from. Some people instinctively look at the glass, and just by instinct, they know it's half empty. Other people look at it, and instinctively they know it's half full. Now, the person who looks at the glass and instinctively says it's half empty, their job in life is going to be how to get past that, how to become a positive, creative, human, in spite of the fact that they instinctively go to a negative thing. Now, the person on the other side is going to have to learn that in spite of the fact that they instinctively want to open their arms and embrace everything, that there are things out there that can hurt them. And they're going to have to learn to ameliorate that thing a little, because sometimes the glass is half empty. And sometimes there are things that will hurt you. So this is a process of learning what our instinctive core personality is all about, and then moving outward from there to understand what behaviors it creates. Okay? So what we're going to do now is talk about what is your core personality. While we do this, like I was saying before, it's great to take notes, but I'm going to give you a lot of stuff here tonight. And I also want you to be sitting back and thinking about these concepts in relationship to yourself. Because the first step is to take away from it, I'm a blue-green combination, or, something like that. Because that's how you figure out what the relationship is between you and somebody else. These people you don't know, these leads we're going to be talking to. Okay? Now, the most common reason that people don't get along with others comes a simple thing. It's a lack of understanding of why others think and act the way they do. Or put another way, why others don't act the way I do. I mean, what the hell is wrong with them? Why isn't everybody like me? Everything would be so darn simple, because then everybody I talk to would like the same stuff. They'd look at Now Lifestyle, and the same things that turn me on about Now Lifestyle would turn them on about Now Lifestyle. So I just have to talk about that. It would make everything really simple. But the fact of the matter is that not everybody is like me, even though that's so silly. Okay? Some people, like other parts of Now Lifestyle for their own reasons. And those things don't even matter to me. It's not why I got in there at all. But it could be a deal breaker for them. Some people, like to have a lot of fun all the time. Other people won't put their nose to the grindstone. Some people love figuring out numbers and parameters and all that kind of stuff. And other people want to just jump out of an airplane and have a great time. If we don't understand why those people who don't act like me, why they don't, then we're not going to be able to communicate with them. Because the art of communication is, one, knowing where I come from and what my personality is made up of, so that when I talk to somebody that's different than me, then I can ameliorate the parts that are going to push them away and nurture the parts that are going to draw them closer and make them more comfortable. We must learn to nurture our strengths and overcome our limitations. Now, this ties in with those two little guys, the glass half full and the glass half empty. If I naturally see the world, as the glass is half empty, I have to learn how to get past that and be positive and believe in a future, right? If I see it half full, I got to learn also, as half full, I have to learn to, not just run willy-nilly into any silly deal that comes along. And I have to learn how to protect myself. So I'm nurturing my strengths and overcoming my limitations and understanding our own personalities is the only way that we can grow. It's the only way, okay? If you don't understand yourself, then you're never going to understand anybody else. And we all want to grow. And if everybody was like me, if I can only talk to people who are like me, I'll have a business full of people exactly like me. But guess what? It could have been 4 times as big. Because there's 3 of the 4 kinds of people that I can't, that I couldn't talk to until I learned how. And that's what we're doing here tonight. Now, we're going to take this a little bit apart. First, to understand the concept, we're dividing all personalities into yellow, green, blue, and red. Don't worry why, all right? We can talk about that later. And we're going to get into really heavy detail about each of these colors and what they mean. But first, understand that each of us has a green color, our core personality, all right? Now, that can be followed by a secondary color that's very strong, but it's clearly secondary. Others may have one that's like really out in front. I'm a predominantly blue personality. You'll see that as we go on and we start taking this apart. You watch yourself. You'll start seeing yourself in what I'm going to be talking about here. And like I say, some have this, I'm predominantly blue, and the others are kind of floating way in the background, okay? Others can have a primary and a secondary that are so close that they'll sit there going, I don't know, I can't really decide if I'm a blue or a red. Some days I think I'm a red personality, and other days I think I'm a blue, and I'm not really sure, okay? The whole point is that there is no right or wrong about this. There's no judgment here at all, okay? It's just the way we are. And if you have confusion about, you're not going to be the same as anyone else. When I say I'm predominantly blue, I know a lot of other people who are predominantly blue, but their secondary color may be different. They may be less predominantly blue than me. There can be all sorts of combinations that happen here. So there's no right or wrong. There's just what you are. And once you target and go right in on what you are, then you are going to be empowered to really put this to work and to be able to communicate with all of the other types. Okay? So, here's where it gets a little complicated. But think about this. We're ignoring the phone. Sorry about that. Behaviors. How people behave, how they act, the things they do, and how they do them. Those are determined by their needs and by their wants. Now, I've been an actor all my life. It was all I did for about 40 years. And one of the, if you've ever studied acting, if you've ever had anything to do with acting, you know that, when you have a scene, it says, Steve enters, and you're supposed to open the door and walk in. Well, you need to know what the situation is. You need to know what Steve, that character, needs and wants. Why is he going into that room? What does he want to get out of that room? In other words, if there's a bunch of fire and smoke in the room and I'm hearing screams from the street and it says, Steve runs up the staircase and then Steve throws open the door and goes inside, then, to pull people out, he's going to behave in a certain way when he opens the door, right? Now, if Steve has stolen something from the people who live in the house and he thinks they've found out about it and he wants to sneak it back before they can find out about it, then Steve's going to open the door in a little different way than the first way. He's going to behave in a different way because his needs and his wants are different. All right? You following me? Now, our needs and our wants, where do they come from? Why do we need something? Why do we want certain things? Why do I want these things and that person wants something completely different? First of all, I understand now that they behave differently because they need and want different things than I do. So where do those needs and wants come from? The behaviors come from the needs and wants, but what about the needs and wants? They are determined by our motives. And our motives, our core motive, is what determines our core personality color. There are only 4 motives. Seriously. Okay? Now before we go on, if you've heard of the Hartman test, I want you to understand that this is, not a joke, and it's not some kind of arbitrary thing. When this first came into being, it was used primarily after World War II by VA psychologists. There were a lot of people coming back from Europe with what at the time they called shell shock, and now we know is post-traumatic stress disorder. And we know now a lot more different things cause it than war, but at the time it was called shell shock. And there were a lot of DIs coming back from the war theater, and not that many psychologists working with the VA at the time. And these guys would have 40 or 50 or 60 people having to go through their office in a day, and they'd have to classify what their problems were. And this was the system that they came up with. And they would quickly just talk to them for 3 or 4 or 5 minutes and figure out certain things about them and where where they were coming from and where they were going. My point is that this is not just a simple little toy. This is a real classification system that's been used all over the world for all sorts of things. Second time I heard about it was in acting school, where they taught it to us as a way to analyze characters that, until we made them live, exist only on paper. Why does this person behave like that? What do they want and need? What's their motive? The next time I heard about it, and anybody who's been in sales has probably heard about it as well. I got all of this in real estate training, again and again, how to do this stuff. And it's either you hear about it, sometimes people do it A, B, C, D. Sometimes they do it with different colors. I'm going to give you an address where you can go online and take the Hartman test, and they use different colors. I'm a white in that system and not a blue. But the point is, this is seriously how human beings work, and it's a great way to get to the core of things, the core motive, in a really quick manner. And for people in network marketing, this can be an absolute game changer. So the way somebody acts is determined by what they need and by what they want. And what they want and what they need is determined by their motives. What is their core motive? Well, there are 4 of them. For yellows, the motive is peace. For blues, the motive is fun. For greens, it's intimacy. And for reds, it's power. Now we're going to look at this and how it works. Let's look at the personality first. The motive is peace. So what do they need? What do they need to achieve peace? Well, they need to be allowed their own space. If people are always crowding you and not leaving you alone, and they're, in your space all the time, invading it, that's not a peaceful situation, right? Now, that may not matter to the blue, but it matters a lot to the yellow, because the blue's motive is fun. That might be fun to have all those people crowding right in there, okay? But it's not peaceful. So the yellow needs to be allowed their own space, and they need tolerance. Intolerance is not peaceful. They need to be tolerated. They need to tolerate other people, and they need those people around them to tolerate each other. Otherwise, their peace is disturbed, and they're not happy. Okay? For instance, like the red, with the motive power, their tolerance is not that big a deal to them. It's just not that important, because their core motive is not about having inner peace and peace, being the guiding word of their life. The yellow needs to feel good inside. Okay, they need to feel that peace. If you're not feeling good, You're not. It's not peaceful. If you have a lot of anxiety going on and things like that, you don't feel good. You don't feel peaceful. Then you're violating your motive there, and you're going to do what it takes to achieve that feeling good inside. Now, from those needs, what are their wants? Well, if the motive is peace and they need to be allowed their own space and tolerance and things like that, they want kindness. They want to be kind to everybody else. They want everybody to be kind to them. And they want all those people to be kind to each other. That's really important. They want that because it gives them peace. They want independence. Now, why would somebody whose motive is peace want independence? Well, because if you get dragged around by somebody whose motive is not peace, like a blue who's only, whose interest is in fun, or a red whose interest is in power, then, and you're tied to that person. It's like, let's say they're married. If a yellow marries a red, then what's going to happen is they're going to get totally dominated most of the time. And, they're not going to be independent anymore, and they're not going to have their peace the way they want it, okay? And they want contentment. They want to be content with the way things are around them, with the way things are inside them, with the way they are with others, and vice versa. That gives them peace. So you see how this slide is working. We've got the basic motive, which is peace. That results in needs and wants. And that's what they are for the yellow. They need to be allowed their own space. They need tolerance. They need to feel good inside. They want kindness. They want independence. And they want contentment. Now let's talk about the green. The motive is different. It's intimacy. They want to be understood. They need to be understood. They need to be accepted. They want to be part of a group. Okay? These are people they're not necessarily leaders, but they are people who like to join in things. All right? They need to be understood. They want people to understand them. They want to understand other people. They want everybody to know that they're all about, that they won't hurt you, and that they would just like to be your friend, that kind of stuff. And they need to be good morally. Now that's different than feeling good on the inside. This is being good morally. Now, if you have a green who is a member of a church, a synagogue, a religion of some kind, and greens are notoriously members of churches, members of clubs, things like that, because they want acceptance. They want to be part of a group or groups, all right? So if they're a member of a church, for instance, that has some kind of a religion that has some kind of a moral code, to be good morally means to follow that code. These are people who dot all the I's and cross all the T's, all right? They're going to go by what the rules say, and because that is one of their needs. They need to be good in a moral way. They want quality. These are the green personality would rather, if they can't have a Lenovo laptop, they don't want the Acer. All right? They either want the best they can get their hands on, or they'd rather really not have it. This goes for their own work. They can be very critical of themselves. They want to do quality work. They want to be left alone to do it. They want autonomy. In other words, if you have a green in your business and you give them a job to do, they want to be left alone to do it. They don't want you over them all the time. No, do it over there. Do it this way, do it that way. They know how to cross the T's and dot the I's. You don't need to hover over them. You give them a job to do and then let them do it. And they want security. They don't want to have a situation where they don't know where they're going to be living in the same place next month, or where their food is going to come from next week, or if they're going to get a paycheck or stuff like that. Okay, they want, that's what money is to them. Money to the green personality is security. All right, I'm hearing that I'm inaudible. Can anybody? Okay. Give me a yes in the text chat if you hear me. Okay. Oh, Janet says I'm a goof. All right. Okay, now let's talk about the blue. Blue, motivation is fun, all right? The blue personality just wants to have a good time all the time. And because of that, their needs are different than the greens or the yellows. They need to be noticed. I'm a blue. In 1967, I was the first person ever to wear a Nehru jacket to Temple City High School. Also the first person to wear bell bottoms. I got sent home for both of those things, but I got noticed. Okay? They want approval from the masses. I'm an actor. That's what I do. I've got a net series now. We're about to shoot season 2. I'm doing a show at our local performing arts center. And before I moved to Big Bear, it's literally what I did for my day job for about 35 years. So that, there you go. And they need to look good socially. They want that audience and everybody around town to look at him and go, oh, that's that guy. That's him. Yeah. All those things. They need those things because those things make everything fun. If you're the one that's being noticed, if all the masses approve of you, the audiences clap and stand up and stuff like that, and all around town people talk about, oh, he is the coolest guy and all that kind of stuff, then that makes things fun. So they want happiness, they want to be happy, they want freedom. Now, if things everybody has their pluses and minuses. If things for me get unfun, I'm gone. I disappear. Janet will tell you, about 7 months ago, a lot of things for me just sort of got unfun. And I just sort of disappeared from network marketing and internet marketing, and boom, I was just sort of gone. And until something came along that I thought was really fun, which is now lifestyle. To me, it's fun. The workouts are fun, watching my waist shrink is fun to me. It's a cool thing. It gives me something fun to blog about and all that. And boom, I come back to life. All right, because I'm a blue. So they want happiness. They want freedom. If they're not getting, like I say, if you tie them down to something day after day after day, they're going to disappear and go find their freedom somewhere else because freedom is fun. And they like adventure. But they like a playful adventure, all right? They like the kind of adventure of, taking a helicopter tour around Big Bear Valley, or doing a play, or going out and shooting a video, and like a series, and that kind of fun stuff. Jumping out of an airplane. I've gone skydiving twice in my life, and once was on purpose. No, both of them were. And that kind of a thing, a playful adventure. So that's the blue. The red motive is power. This is a totally different thing. The red needs to be right, okay? Because if they're wrong, then somebody else has the power. See? So these people, the good part is that they, usually are right when they open their mouth. But if they're wrong, this is the kind of person that no matter what you say to them, you can't convince him that the earth is round because he knows better. All right? And no proof that you put out is going to have anything to do with anything. All right? Hey, guys, by the way, I got a couple puppies here who are driving me crazy. No. Go on now. Go on. All right. They need approval, but only from a select few. They're not interested. The red is not interested in what an audience or the masses think of them. They're interested in only what the powerful people think about them, the other achievers. Okay, that's where they need their approval from, and they need to look good technically, in other words, for people to go, he really knows what he's talking about. That guy really knows what he's doing. That's the kind of approval they need. Now, they want productivity. They want to produce and produce and produce, and they want those around them to produce and produce and produce. They want a leadership position because that means they're powerful, okay? And they want a challenging adventure. Now, these are people that they're not going to take a helicopter ride around Big Bear or, go surf the Wedge or something like that in Newport Beach. No, these are the guys who are climbing Everest or climbing K2 or, they're out doing those kind of things and the stuff that actually could put your life in danger. That's the kind of adventure they like. So those are the 4 colors. And they're 4 basic motives: peace, fun, intimacy, and power. Now we're going to delve a little bit more into how these relate to each other. Now, all of those things, you got 4 different kinds of personalities. We know their needs and wants. We're going to actually assign words to them. But all of these work with each other. Roxy, stop it. I'm sorry, guys. All of these work with each other. Hey. Sorry, hold on. I have a pair of blue dogs. And one of their friends just showed up outside. But you have to stay in. Okay, go sit down. All right. As I was saying, these work together with each other to attract each other, and they also work in different ways to push each other apart. So we're going to look at that. Everybody wants to avoid tension. Yellow, their word is amiable. Their motive is peace. Blue, the word is expressive. Their motive is fun. Green is analytical. Their motive is intimacy and understanding. And the red, their word is driven. Okay, the motive is power. Now, how do we avoid tension between these 4 competing motives and ways of expressing themselves? Well, let's look at the orange little ovals here. You'll see there's a division between the left and the right. There's a division between the yellow and the green and the blue and the red. Because the blue and the red, you'll see it says direct. Their mode of communication is very direct. Both the blue and the red. They're going to speak right out about things. The yellow and the green are not going to be so out there. They're going to communicate indirectly. As an example, I always use my grandmother on my dad's side. She would never ask me to mow her lawn. Instead, she'd look out the window and go, "Oh, look how terrible the lawn looks. I wonder what the neighbors think." Okay? Which translated into direct blue talk is, "Hey, Steve, would you mow my lawn for me?" Okay? It's just a different style of doing the same thing. So the blues and reds communicate very directly and say things outright. Okay? Yellows and greens are going to be a little more indirect about things. Now, also, when you look at the direct approach of the blue and the red, there's a division between the blue and the red on what that direct kind of communication means. The blue, for instance, will be very outgoing and will give advice. All right? The red is going to be very verbal. They want to talk all the time. They want to dominate the conversation. And they're going to blame others when things go wrong. Okay? Just keep those in mind. If you look over on the other side, the indirect communicators, the yellows are going to seek advice as opposed to the blue giving advice. The yellows will seek advice. And they're going to be much more reserved than, say, the blue. Okay? They're going to hold things more inside. Now, the greens, they're going to be less verbal. They're not going to talk so much. They're going to listen to everybody else, like the reds, talk, talk, talk. They're going to listen to how people suss things out, and they're going to make their own decisions along the way. But there'll be a time that comes, when they'll make a decision about how they feel about things. But they're not going to be spreading what they think about things to the whole room all the time, all right? And then when things go wrong, they're going to blame themselves instead of, as the red does, blaming others, okay? If Red, for instance, something goes wrong at the factory that he runs, then it's the fault of the employees somehow, even if it was his fault. The green is always going to blame themselves instinctively. And, I should have done those numbers. I should have gone over those numbers more. If I'd have gone over them one more time, I would have caught that, Okay, now, look at the top and the bottom. There's a division between the yellow and blue and the red and green as well. This is a quadrant, okay? The yellow and blue are more open personalities. The green and red are more closed personalities. The green, for instance, the green and red actually use conflict. They use conflict to help them get what they want. And the green, when I say uses conflict, they need answers. And their form of using conflict is constant questions. How many of you have talked to a prospect about your business, and it's this question and that question and this question and that question and this question and that question, on and on and on and on. That's classic green behavior because they want answers. They want answers to everything. If you're standing on a road and you have a map, and you tell a green personality, okay, we're here, and you need to go down this road a mile, and then see there's a fourth road down there. You turn right at the fourth road, and you're there, okay? Green personality is going to say to you, all right, well, wait, let's say I went down just to the first road and turned right. What would I find down there? And you say, well, that doesn't have anything to do with it. You don't have to go there. You just go straight down to the fourth road and turn right. And the green will say, no, but what if I do? What if I go to the first road and I turn right? What's down there? And what if I go to the second road and turn right? What's down there? And a lot of people who are blue, for instance, are going to be talking to a green prospect, and it's like, what is with all these questions? Just do it. They want to know everything about everything before they start anything. I once had a lady in a system that I was a member of, the system where I met Janet, actually, an old funded sponsoring system from way back in the last decade. And I was talking to her. She and I were talking, and it was this very involved system, and it had a lot of instructions and everything. And she called me and she said, well, nothing's happening. And I said, well, what are you doing? She said, well, I've read everything 2 or 3 times. And I said, well, what are you doing? And she said, well, I don't know. I don't know where to start. Where do I said, how about starting at step 1? There's a big page that says, step 1, do this, Well, she's a green person. She wants to know everything that's going to happen before she'll take a first step, Now, if you've got a green prospect, I'll tell you right now, what you need to do is just give them all the information, answer every question they have, and just keep answering and answering and answering and giving them all the information, and eventually they will make a decision, okay? Now, the red uses structure. When we say he uses conflict, he uses structure. This is the way it's done. This is the way it's done because I say it's done that way. So that's how I want you to do it. That is our structure. And that's how, everybody fits into it. So do it that way. Okay? Now, if you look on the upper half of the quadrant, you've got the open personalities. Yellow and the blue have in common that they are more open. They avoid conflict. And they avoid conflict, the blue does, well, as I said, through that's the freedom. That's the need for freedom. If there's conflict going on and things aren't fun anymore, boom, There goes the blue. He's gone. You won't hear from him again because he finds something else that's fun, and then he's not there anymore. The yellow personality is wants options. So what will happen with the yellow personality, because they want tolerance and peace. So the yellow personality will, well, we could do this, or we could do that. Or we could do this. You know what? I just thought of another thing we could do. We could do that too. And, everything gets to just almost a decision, and then there's another option. And then there's another option. And, when somebody has a suggestion, oh, we could do that. Okay? So you're seeing on these two separations, the yellow and the blue have things in common, but they also have things that push them apart. And the yellow and the green have things in common, but they have things that push them apart. And all the way around this quadrant. So you've got open personalities, closed personalities, direct communicators, indirect communicators, and you'll find if you've got somebody who's talking very straight to you, you've probably got a blue or a red. If they're saying things outright like, how much money can I make doing this? You're probably talking to a blue or a red, because a green or a yellow is not going to act that way. That's a direct communication. They're going to be more indirect, Well, is it very hard? You think I could learn that kind of a thing? That kind of stuff. So this is the way these four personality groups work with each other. And it also shows you the areas that they rub up against each other. So if I'm a yellow and I'm talking to a red, right? I know that the part of me that's more reserved and seeks advice and stuff like that is going to have to, I'm going to have to kind of get over that. And I'm going to have to be a little more verbal than I would normally want to be, and I'm going to have to probably abandon a little bit of my options, my propensity for giving everybody a lot of options all the time, and come up with a direct road to tell that red directly, well, here's what you need to do. I'll send you all the information. You can look it over and then call me back, and if you want to do it, boom, we'll do it. Boom. And that's not a way a yellow normally talks, but that's how you have to talk to a red. Okay? So this is how everything works together. Now we're going to go into even more detail about each one. Hold on to your hats. Let's talk about the yellows first. Now I'm going to draw your attention. We're going to give them an animal. We already gave them words. Now we're going to give them an animal. Okay? We're going to give them a sentence. But one of the most important things you'll see on this page, on these four cards, is the number in the upper right-hand corner. Okay? Okay, I'm going to speed up and go as fast as I can. 35% of the population is yellow. All right? That means 10% of the people on Earth out there have as their core personality yellow. They're amiable. Their motive is peace. Now, their occupations, we're going to get specific here. They're going to be teachers, nurses, counselors. That's because they're helpers. All right? They won't necessarily start building the hospital, but they'll, let's all chip in and build the west wing of the hospital. They donate their time for the benefit of others. They volunteer for charities. They work for, Habitat for Humanity, things like that. They like to be part of a team working for the benefit of humankind or other people, okay? They're followers. They're not the leaders of the group. They don't put together the organization, but they're really hard workers. Now, they can be indecisive. When you're talking to a yellow personality about coming into your business, they can hem and haw. They can take a long time, and I don't know, maybe, yesterday I felt really good about it, but today I don't know, and the things they're going to be interested in about your business is, does it help people? This is the kind of personality that, when Joel talks about the good that Now Lifestyle can do with helping people with diabetes and weight loss and heart disease and things like that, that's what's important to the yellow. That stuff is what they want to hear about it. They don't care about the pay plan, okay? if you start looking at this in relation to the different things you can talk to people about in regard to now lifestyle, then all of a sudden this starts to make sense. Ooh, because if I've got somebody whose occupation is a teacher or a nurse or a psychological counselor for, handicapped kids or something like that, then guess what? They're not going to want to hear about the pay plan. So the trick then just becomes, now we know what to talk to a yellow about because of the things that are important to them, okay? So the thing just becomes how to identify them quickly. Now, the negative part about them is that oftentimes they can feel guilty. Like, I didn't do enough. I just didn't do enough. And they're not money motivated. They don't care about your pay plan. Now, their voice, here's where we get into the meat of things, folks. Their voice is going to be soft. It's going to be gentle. They're going to dress casually, and they're going to be dressed comfortably. Their strengths are they're dependable, a team player. You get a yellow on your team who loves being on your team, and they will be there forever. Okay, the team player, they're very patient, very supportive, very nurturing. If you can point out to them, to a yellow, that being a network marketer has a lot of teaching qualities to it, like I'm doing right now, that will make your business much more attractive to a yellow than saying then you just duplicate it. Okay? That's not what you want to tell them. You don't want to tell them everybody just duplicates what you do. You want to tell them, then you get to teach them. You get to teach those people that come after you, how to do the same thing that you're doing, and it'll help them the same way it's helping you. That's how you talk to a yellow. Okay? So their voice is soft and gentle. We went through there. Their weaknesses, they can be oversensitive. Reds and blues have to be careful when you're talking to a yellow, because if you get a little too flip with them, a little too dismissive with them, they can get very hurt and they can leave. They're not goal oriented, so you're not, we sit down with them and make a bunch of financial goals and state how much you want for this and that by 6 months and stuff like that. That's not going to do it for them. That's not what they're in it for. All right. Unless you make those goals about how many people you can help overcome their weight problem in 6 months. That's what'll get a yellow going. Keywords are team, together, relationship, family. They dislike pushy people. You come on fast with a yellow personality, and you have a sales thing like, look, have you ever had somebody say to you on the phone, look, this offer is good for tonight only. If you want to join, it's now or never, okay? A yellow will tell you, well, then no, I don't want to do it. Because you just got pushy with them, okay? They don't like bullies. They consider pushy people bullies. And they don't like conflict at all. So that's who these people are. Remember, the voice is soft and gentle. The occupations are helping occupations. And 35% of the population is got a core personality of yellow, all right? Does anybody see themselves in there? Anybody seeing that they might be a yellow personality? Okay, the green personality. The word is analytical. The motive is intimacy and understanding. Let's get the facts and the figures is their motto there. And the animal is an owl. Now look in the upper right-hand corner. 35% again. So now let me point out something to you. If you are calling a lead and you dial that phone, before they ever answer, you have a 70% chance of ending up speaking to a green or a yellow. Before you even pick up the phone, you know that, okay? So there's only a 30% chance that you're going to get one of the other two, because a huge majority of the population is green or yellow. So before I even dial, I know the probability is I'm going to be talking to a green or a yellow. Now, their occupants, these are the bean counters, people. They're accountants, secretaries, engineers, researchers, clinical researchers, scientific researchers, stuff like that. They're very skeptical. especially of new things, all right? And they always want more information. These are the people that are always asking more questions, and they want to know everything about everything before they take step one, you know? Don't round numbers with them. If something costs $1.97, don't tell them $2, because they'll get just as mad at you because you overestimated it by 3 cents. You didn't tell them the truth. You didn't tell them exactly the situation. They're very organized. They're very neat. They are perfectionists. They want everything to be perfect. Now, because of that, they can be worried. They can feel guilty a lot of the time because nobody's perfect. So that's why greens can be worried and guilty. They can be unforgiving and resentful. They can hold a grudge forever. They can be at the same time very committed, very loyal. Quit! Stop it. 16 months old. What can you say? Be quiet, you little booger. Be quiet. Okay. Money to them is security. So if you have somebody like this in your business, then this person, if they are happy where they are, and they are making money, which gives them security, then and they like the people that are around them, and you give them autonomy to do what they want, and you be completely honest with them all the time, then they will be with you forever. Now their voice, here we go again, guys, the voice is soft and polite. All right? Remember that. Their dress is more formal. It's conservative. All right? Their strengths are they're organized, they're planners, they're very accurate, they're persistent, and they always follow through. These people don't let a lead go by. Okay? Now, because they're perfectionists and they tend to be worried and a little guilty, they sometimes have problems phoning them. But they will definitely follow up. Weaknesses can be that they're over-analytical. They can spend forever going over a pay plan. They're hard to please. Like I said, they'd rather have the no laptop than not get the Lenovo. They can be depressed and they can be lonely because they are perfectionists. The key words are why, graphs, charts, research, exactly, and why, again, why. They dislike pushy people, and they don't like somebody not knowing the facts. And if you're late, they'll walk out the door. They don't like people being late at all, and they don't like lazy people. Now, look at the voice again. Remember this. The voice is soft and which is very similar to the yellow. Okay? Their voice is soft too. Now, before I pick up the phone, I've got a 70% chance of talking to a yellow or green. I know that. So if I call up and I say, "Hi, it's Steve there," and the voice on the other end is "Hi there, this is Steve. What's up?" Uh-oh. Wait a minute. That doesn't fit with either the green or the yellow. Because a green or a yellow is going to be, "Hi, this is Steve. Can I help you?" If I hear that kind of a thing, then I know that I'm probably talking to a green or a yellow at that moment, and I start to figure out which of those two it is. Just by the sound of the voice, I can, I've already got a 70% chance that it's going to be one of those two. So when I hear the soft voice, then I know, okay, it is a green or a yellow. Now I just have to, get into which one of those it might be. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Blue, word is expressive, motive is fun. The sentence is fun. The animal, of course, is a monkey. All right? And the funny thing is, I was partnered with a monkey, and I mean literally a monkey, a capuchin, for 15 years. Sydney, he was, and lived with me for 15 years. And only 15% of the population is blue. Their occupations, they're in sales, they're in entertainment, they're public speakers. They tend to be big thinkers. They're not too good on the details, okay? Okay, so you're hearing me? All right. They're not too good on the details. They are the big thinkers. You know what we should do is we should have a new peninsula out there where they could build a whole neighborhood, you know, that kind of thing. Then they're not too good at building the neighborhood. They'll initiate the team, and they will be the leader of the team, okay? Let's do this, okay? Let's put it together and go. They often talk with their hands. Well, all right. They are big risk takers. They will, I mean, you know, for 4 years I was a commodity futures trader. So there you go. No regrets. They don't have any regrets. They're too busy moving on to the next fun thing. They are money motivated. If, you know, they'll want to know how much money you can make and how quickly you can make it, because money equals fun. You can't go skydiving without having money. All right? Now, their voice, loud and fast. Hello? You been listening? There we go. The voice is loud and fast. The dress is going to be stylish, flamboyant, colorful. I told you about the navy jacket and the bell bottoms. Their strengths are they're promoters, they're convincing, they're enthusiastic, and they're high energy. You're looking at it. The weaknesses are they talk too much. What time is it now? Poor follow-up. Yep. Unorganized, and they tend to exaggerate. Keywords are fun, excitement, freedom, lifestyle. There you go. Now lifestyle. It's attractive right off the bat, as far as I'm concerned. They dislike not having fun. They dislike facts and figures. Numbers, please, get the numbers out of my face. I can't even remember where I live because some fool put numbers in my street address. You know, I have to memorize it by what it looks like. I can, right now, I promise you, I've had the same cell phone for over 10 years. And if you ask me my cell phone number, I can't tell you. I have to get my cell phone and look it up. I swear to you, that's the truth. And they don't want to be bored, okay? So, look at the voice, loud and fast. So if I'm hitting on the phone, you know, hi, yeah, this is Steve, what can I do for you? That kind of a thing. I'm not talking to a green or a yellow. I'm talking to a blue or a red. Now the red makes up 15% too. Their word is driven, motive is power. Their sentence is get out of my way, and their animal is the shark. Now their occupations are attorneys, they're airline pilots, you know, things with hundreds of lives in their hands, that kind of thing. They're CEOs, they run large businesses. I'm not talking about just because you have a network marketing business you run on the internet at home, you know, that you're necessarily a red personality. No, these are people who, they own companies with 100 employees, you know, 150 employees. Politicians, they're police officers, okay? They can be a bull in a china shop, you know. I can tell you this right now. If you can get a red in your business, you may have all sorts of systems in place. You may have this funded sponsoring thing. Now Lifestyle has its, you know, its lead capture pages and everything else it gives us to do the business. A red is going to go out and reinvent the entire thing. He will never do it your way. He will never, ever duplicate you. That's not what they are about, okay? He'll take the opportunity, and then he'll go out and create a completely different way of doing it, and then have a whole bunch of people come in and train them to do it that way. So fine with me, okay? Go ahead and do it. These are the people that will actually say to you on the phone, look, we need you to make a decision tonight. I don't care if you want to join tomorrow. I'm only interested in signing you up tonight. Okay? Do it and live with it. Now, they are always right. If you start telling a red that they're incorrect about something, you've just pushed them away and lost the conversation. They need to be in command. They live by comparison. The one who dies with the most toys wins. That's an important thing there, okay? Money is a way for them to keep score, okay? Well, look, no wonder he thinks that. What does he make? 80, 90 grand a year? Okay. Of course he's an idiot. Their voice is going to be forceful and with volume. They're going to dress with success. For success, they're going to be the guys in the power ties. You know, that's them. They're very focused. They're very goal-oriented. They're very intense. Their weaknesses are they have a gigantic ego the size of Iowa. All right? They're short-tempered. They don't have patience with people. They can be very dominating. Yellows and greens. They can have have a lot of conflicts and things trying to work with reds because they just get walked all over. That's why. They're unteachable. I mentioned that. Their keywords are money, power, control, get to the point. I don't have all day. Okay? How many of you on a prospecting call have ever had had that? Said you look. I know you have your to go through, you got your script, whatever. Can you just get to the point? I don't have all day. Have you heard that before? I have. And what did it tell me? It told me I got a red personality. So what did I do? Okay. What you do with a red personality is, look, I know you're busy. I have an opportunity you might be interested in. Can I send you all the information? Then you can look it over, and you can, I'll give you a call back in a couple days, and if you find it interesting, then we can talk. Boom. That's what you do with a red. Okay. You hopefully make an appointment to talk to them next time. But if you try and keep them on the phone, try and keep them talking while they got stuff to do, they're not going to listen to anything you say. They dislike indecision. They dislike chit-chat. They don't want to do that stuff, and they dislike losing control. They want to be in control all the time. So that is the red. So now here's the deal that we need to put together from all this, guys. When I'm calling leads for Now Lifestyle, and I want to know what to say to this person, and I go to pick up the phone, what is the first thing I know? I know that I've got a 70% chance of a green or a yellow. And then I also know that by just the way they answered the phone and the tone of their voice, that I've got a chance of, either blowing that 70% out of the water and figuring, oh, I got a red or a blue. If I've got a loud, forceful voice with volume, I can make that decision almost immediately if you listen, if you're aware of it, and you listen. Now we're going to talk about the questions, the magic questions, the real clues. If you follow these, ask these simple questions sometime during your conversation, and you learn to mirror, you will find your success rates going through the roof. Number one, how many people have heard the term mirroring sales? Give me a yes or no in the text chat. I want to see if you're still with me. Okay. So you've heard of mirroring. Yes. Okay. Anybody who's been in sales has heard of mirroring. For instance, if you're a real estate agent and a prospective, guy is thinking of buying a house, comes in and sits across from you and lays back like this and puts his arm over the back of the chair and stuff like that. If you sit up in his face like this, he's going to be uncomfortable. If you do the same thing, then guess what happens? Your tone of voice is going to start to mirror his, and you're going to find yourself sort of existing on the same plane. And it becomes easier to understand what the other person is saying because you're moving along at the same energy rate. You're kind of just going, now if this person comes up and sits down in front of you and does this, now I want to know about this, and I want to know about that. And you go, well, I can tell you about this and about that. He's going to look at you and think you're an idiot. All right? But if you come back up here, then you both got a conversation going with the same kind of intensity level and things like that. You can do this with the voice. You can mirror the voice. If the voice, if I pick up the phone and I say, I'm calling a lead, and I'm just me on the phone, and I say, hi, is Sandra there? And the voice on the other end goes, this is Sandra. Can I help you? I'm not going to go, well, hi, Sandra, how are you? That's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to hear, this is Sandra. Can I help you? And I'm immediately going to go, Sandra, my name is Steve Gaghagen, and you were on my Now Lifestyle website just the other day. Do you remember that? Boom. Okay? I'm communicating. I'm mirroring what she's doing. Now, I'm thinking at the same time, okay, I probably got a green or a yellow here, right? But if somebody answers, if I call up and say, hi, is Sandra there? Hi, this is Sandy. What's up? Then I'm going to go, well, Sandra, no, Sandy. Okay, well, Sandy, listen, this is Steve Gaghagen. You were on my website just the other day at Now Lifestyle. Do you remember that? Oh, yeah, that was that thing about weight loss. Yeah. It had all the cool videos. You know, boom. I'm going to talk to her the way she's talking to me. That's how I'm going to do it, okay? So what is the voice? Is it loud or soft? Fast and forceful? Slow and timid? Boom. Number one, I'm going to fall into their speech pattern. Number two, what does that mean as far as the color? Okay? Am I still within the 70%? Or am I outside the 70%? With that second Sandra there, I'm outside. I know she's a blue or a red. You got it? Okay? If I've got somebody that's talking like this and I find myself mirroring that, I've got somebody who's a green or a yellow. Now, how do I really put it together? I ask them the two vital questions. And that can be, you know, after we're talking for just a second, I will ask, so what do you do for a living now? If I'm talking to the timid Sandra, right? So Sandra, what do you do for a living right now? And she says, well, I'm a counselor for handicapped children at a children's hospital. Boom! My instinct is to say, I got what? What do I have there? Yellow. Correct. Okay? Yellow, right? That's my instinct. Now, if that person says, well, you know, I work at a bank and I work actually in the cash vault and I work nights and I count cash all night and verify deposits, then I got a green. That's not a yellow, that's a green. That's bean counting, right? Okay? So I can do with that question, what do you do for a living now? Well, I own 4 companies and, you know, I'm doing this and I'm doing that and we have a race team and all that kind of stuff. I got a red. Right? Or the guy says, you know, I train lifeguards. Well, he's a blue. You know? Or I'm in sales. I've been in sales for years. This looks like a good sales job, so I thought I'd look into it. That kind of thing. Boom, he's a blue. Okay? Because those are the occupations. Now, the second question is to guard your ass. Pardon the expression. Because it's possible for you to get somebody, well, I'm a counselor for handicapped children at a children's hospital. And I asked the question, oh, really? And so, Sandra, how do you like that job? Oh, God, I hate it. I hate it. I've always wanted to be an actress. Oh, okay. Well, wait. Maybe I don't necessarily have a yellow in that case. Okay? But these questions, you want to back up your first question. So the process is, it's always loud, forceful, fast talking, or is it slow? Is it kind of timid? Is it a little softer? Because right there you can look at which left and right quadrant you're in. Are we in the blue-red, or are we in the yellow-green? Okay? And then the way you narrow it down, so what do you do for a living now? Really? How do you like that job? And most people will say, I like it okay, but I'm looking for something outside. Then you've verified if they say, if that yellow that we just talked about, loves their job being a counselor for handicapped kids, then, and then she says, it goes on and says, well, I'd like to be able to help them more than I do, things like that. Then boom, you got a yellow. All right. These questions, these vocal indications, and those two questions, you can usually pick out a prospect's dominant color in the first couple of minutes. You can work those questions in really early in what you're saying to these people, and boom, you can pick them out. And then at that point, what happens? I know that when I'm talking to that yellow, she's going to want to hear about not the pay plan. She doesn't care. She's going to want to hear about all of the benefits that the health benefits to so many people. So know your facts about how many people have diabetes simply because they're overweight, and how many people can benefit from learning the idea of training the way Joel teaches it, with the momentary muscular failure, as opposed to repeating and repeating and repeating and doing endless sets, things like that, and overtraining your body. Let them know how much you can help other people. And then not only that, but you can help them financially, because so many people need a second income, but they've got kids, and the wife can't go to, they can't afford childcare, so she could have a second job from home. You can help them that way. Boom, give the yellow all they need. Give the yellow what they need to go help their people with Now Lifestyle, right? Give the blue all the fun. Once you identify a blue, look, there's, if you get in right now, there's still time to go to Cabo. Everybody's going to Cabo. It is this cool trip at this cool place. Look, I can send you a link that'll show you all about the resort that everybody's going to be staying at, okay? And and you've got them. You've got the blue. Once you do that, do you have fun trainings? I mean, is this thing fun at all? The CEO, the red guys, how much money can I make? Well, it's unlimited. I mean, there are there's huge businesses and unlimited possibilities being made right here with this company. Right? That's what the red wants to hear. You can have an organization where you're the head of thousands of... Go ahead, put it together, Ooh. All right. So this is how this works. Once you identify the core personality, then you know what that person is going to be interested in as far as the company is concerned. And you can talk to them about those things. And you can mirror personality traits, the way they communicate, fast, slow, or more relaxed and laid back. You can help. Do you know how many people have diabetes just because they're overweight, and how much good you could do by helping people with that problem in a way that really is a lifestyle changer instead of just some fad. You know how many people you could help that way? Boy, a yellow's going to fall for that. And I say fall for that. I don't mean it in the sense of manipulation. I mean it in the sense that they're going to eat it up. And they're going to eat it up because you're talking to them in a way that they are comfortable with and that they understand. And you're talking about the stuff that's important to them, not to you. Okay? That's it, guys. That is really it. That is the colors of personality, and that is what it can do for you as far as giving you an advantage over talking to people, getting over the phonophobia, knowing the right things to say to practically anybody. And this, guys, it's not just network marketing. This is a great tool for building your Now Lifestyle business, for building your GVO business. But it's also a great tool for building your life. It's a great tool for getting crap out of the way between you and the people you love, for you and the people you care about, or that you may be alienated from because of misunderstandings and things like that. If you can apply it to people in your business, you can apply it to people in your life. And maybe that you and your Uncle Fred, who have been on opposite sides of the table, for 15 years, maybe get them to sit down and at the same side of the table as you are. And remember, there's no good or there's no bad, there's no right or there's no wrong. It's just the way we are. It's just the way we are. And if we learn the way we are, and we learn the way other people are, I've got I've got a guy who wants to say hello, right? Quinn, you have to get down, little one. Get down, get down. If you learn the way other people are, then you can figure out the best way to work with them that will make them comfortable and more open to talking to you. Now, you can go take the test at www.colorcode.com. I'll tell you right now, they use different colors. But if you look at the descriptions of the colors, see how they go together. The blue is white, I believe, over there. That is it. Thank you all for listening to all this brouhaha. I will stay around and answer questions if people need to answer questions. Thank you, Janet, for the opportunity to do this. Thank you, Joel, for the opportunity to do this. And I hope you guys found it helpful. If you need to find me, for questions about this, you can always find me on Facebook, Steve Gaghagen, or you can look up Now Lifestyle Guy. I got that. That's my page over there. And good luck on everything. And I hope this really does help you in your business and in your life. Have a great evening, everybody. Thank you.
Well, that was pretty awesome stuff. I hope you guys got a lot out of this. I know that we went a little longer than usual. I told you guys it was going to be a little longer tonight, about 90 minutes. And look, we're right on the money, 90 minutes. And you know what? Over the years, we've done this training many, many times. Steve, could you put us back in chat mode, please? That'd be great. I just want to bring up my final slide so they know how to connect us. But, Steve and I have done this training many, many times over the years. And every time, try as we might, Steve can tell you, there's just no bunching this down into an hour-long call. So that's why I told Joel this is going to be much longer than an hour, probably 90 minutes. And we were right on the money. So what can I say? I could probably do the call in about 15 minutes. I don't know if you'd get enough information, but you'd get all I could give. I think Steve covered this really, really well. I love it, and I'm looking forward to him being back and doing it again. We'll do this again down the road. Who's going to Cabo? I just booked our tickets. Going to Cabo. Who else is going to Cabo? Let's see your hand. Anybody here on the call who's going to Cabo? Last call. You guys know where to find us. We'll be here next week at 8 o'clock Eastern. Make sure you're using your GVO Academy or your Now Lifestyle link to invite people to the call so that they are attached to you. And we look forward to seeing you guys next time. Awesome stuff. Steve, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I know you love doing this. It shows. And I know that there was a lot of value here today. So thank you, Steve. This was pretty awesome. And I know our folks are looking forward to having you back. So you guys have a great night. See you next week at GVO Academy. Good night, everyone.